All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are diving deep into something you might not expect.
Oh, this is going to be good.
We are talking about getting financially ready for kindergarten.
Yeah,
Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking about those cute little backpacks, first day photos, new
the
shoes.
whole 9 yards.
But here's the deal. Kindergarten isn't just a milestone for your kid. It's a major financial turning point for your whole family.
It is. And it's fascinating because, we get so caught up in, like you said, the new supplies and all that back to school stuff.
Yeah.
But we often forget about the ripple effect kindergarten has on things like childcare costs, saving for education, even estate planning.
State planning.
Yeah, yep. You heard that right.
Okay, that one, I'll be honest, had not crossed my mind yet.
Right.
But I am intrigued now.
Yeah.
So, what makes kindergarten such a financial game changer? Why are we talking about this?
So it's a time of big shifts. Think about it.
Yeah.
Your childcare expenses might go down, but you've got these new costs popping up, like school supplies, after-school programs, maybe extracurricular activities.
Right.
And if you've been staying home with your child, you might be considering returning to work, which of course brings a whole other set of financial considerations.
Oh, wow, it's a whole new financial chapter.
It is.
So where do we even begin?
Okay, well, let's start with that potential decrease in childcare costs. It's tempting to think, woo, extra cash. But instead of, splurging, think of this as an opportunity to redirect those funds strategically.
Okay, redirect. So not buying that new gadget I had my eye on.
Right. So let's talk priorities. First, how's that emergency fund looking? Having 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses tucked away is crucial, especially with those new school-related costs that'll be coming into play.
I've been meaning to beef up that emergency fund, so that's a good place to start.
It is, yeah. And while we're talking about being financially prepared, let's not forget those looming college costs.
Oh, no, don't even go there yet.
I know. I know. It seems like ages away when you're picking out kindergarten backpacks, but trust me, those 13 years, they will fly by.
Okay, I'm starting to sweat a little bit already. College tuition is no joke.
Yeah.
So what's the magic solution here?
All right, so this is where a 529 plan comes in.
Yeah.
It's a tax-advantaged savings plan specifically for education expenses. I actually started one for my daughter when she was a baby, and seeing that money grow over time has given me so much peace of mind.
So it's like a super-powered savings account just for college?
Exactly.
Okay.
And here's another little secret weapon that you might not know about, UTMA GMA accounts.
Okay.
These are custodial accounts,
Yeah.
which means that money is held for the child, but managed by an adult until they reach a certain age.
Hmm.
And the cool thing is, they are not limited to just college expenses.
Wait, so I could use that for things besides tuition? Now that's interesting.
Yeah, so think music lessons, sports equipment, even a down payment on their first car.
Right.
These accounts offer amazing flexibility, and you can start them now while they're still in kindergarten.
I love that idea. It makes those big future expenses, so much less scary.
Hmm.
Okay, so we tackled childcare, we've talked about college. What else should we be thinking about?
Well, we've got to face it. Kindergarten comes with a whole new bunch of expenses beyond just those crayons and glue sticks, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got transportation to consider, whether it's school buses, carpools, or driving them yourself.
Yeah, and after-school programs, if both parents are working, that can add up really quickly.
Absolutely.
Especially if he needs care every day.
Yes. And then there's also, the potential for unexpected school-related expenses.
Oh, yeah.
Field trips, fundraisers, book fairs.
Oh, the book fairs.
The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
That's why having a robust emergency fund is so crucial. It's like a safety net for those unexpected costs that inevitably pop up.
So that emergency fund is looking pretty good right about now. But let's talk about debt.
Yes. Debt. It can be a major roadblock on your financial journey. And, kindergarten is actually a perfect time to reassess your debt situation and really make a plan to tackle it head on.
Okay, so why the emphasis on getting out of debt now, before the kindergarten craziness even begins?
Well, think of it this way. Imagine trying to run a marathon with a heavy backpack weighing you down.
Yeah.
That's what high-interest debt is like. It's a constant burden that drains your resources and just makes it harder to reach your financial goals.
I don't want to run any marathons with a heavy backpack. Thank you very much.
No, I
Sure.
don't blame you. And, the sooner you can shed that debt, the more financial freedom you'll have to focus on those things like saving for college, funding those extracurricular activities, and even taking, a family vacation that you've been dreaming of.
So it's not about like no fun allowed. It's about like making choices to give you more breathing room for the
Exactly.
whole family.
Yeah. And speaking of looking out for your family's future, there's another uh, crucial topic we need to address, and it might surprise you. Estate planning.
Estate planning. Hold on.
I know.
My kids are just starting kindergarten. That's something you worry about much later in life.
I understand why it might feel premature, but trust me, it's never too early to think about protecting your loved ones.
Okay, convince me. Why is this relevant for a family with young children?
Okay, well, the foundation of any estate plan is a will.
Yeah.
And it's basically a legal document that outlines, your wishes for how your assets should be distributed, and more importantly, who should care for your children if something were to happen to you and your partner.
Oh, wow. So it's about making sure that my kids are taken care of no matter what.
Exactly. And a will goes beyond just financial matters. It also allows you to designate a guardian for your children, someone that you trust to raise them according to your values and wishes.
Okay, starting to see why this is important. Where do I even begin with something like this? This is a lot.
I know. Take a deep breath. It doesn't have to be complicated. Start by having a conversation with your partner about your wishes and priorities, and then reach out to an estate planning attorney. They can guide you through the process and help you create a plan that is tailored to your family's needs.
So it's like a financial safety net for the whole family's future.
Yeah, exactly. And while we're on the topic of securing your family's future, let's talk about a powerful tool that can help you build wealth and teach your children, some really valuable life lessons.
Okay, lay it on me. What's the secret weapon?
It's called financial literacy,
Okay.
and you can start planting those seeds right now while they're still in kindergarten.
But how do I make it like fun and engaging for kindergartner?
I know, right?
Yeah.
So think of it as an adventure. You could create a savings jar together and let them decorate it. Every time they earn a little money, like for completing a chore, they can add some to their jar.
Yeah.
Then you can talk about like how that money is growing and how they can use it to buy something special in the future.
I love that, watching their savings grow.
Right. And you can gradually introduce those more advanced concepts as they get older, like budgeting, investing, and even philanthropy.
So it's like giving them the tools to be financially responsible.
Exactly, yeah. And speaking of equipping ourselves with knowledge, kindergarten is a time when a lot of families reassess their work and income situation.
Yeah. Maybe one parent's looking about going back to work full time or exploring a new career path.
Exactly. And this shift can have, a major impact on your family's finances. So it's a great opportunity to, sit down together and have open and honest conversation about your income goals, career aspirations, and how all of that aligns with, your overall family needs.
So it's like making sure our work life and our financial goals like match up with our family.
Yeah. And here's the exciting part. This transition, this could be a springboard for a whole new chapter in your career.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you've been, dreaming of starting your own business or going back to school to pursue that degree you always wanted.
Like a permission slip to like reassess and explore.
Exactly. It's all about viewing this transition as an opportunity for growth and positive change, both personally and financially.
Okay, before we go too far down that rabbit hole, let's talk about healthcare.
Yes. So, we've talked about the school-required medical expenses like checkups and vaccinations, but here's another tip that can save you some money. If you have a high-deductible health plan, you might want to consider contributing to a health savings account,
Yeah, what?
an HSA.
Okay, break that down for me. What is so special about an HSA?
Oh, it's a triple threat. First, your contributions are tax deductible.
All right.
Second, the money grows tax-free.
Yeah.
And third, you can withdraw it tax-free to cover qualified medical expenses.
Wow. So triple threat, I like that. I need to look into this. Okay, so we have covered a lot of ground here. I want to touch on something that's been on my mind.
Sure.
School readiness.
Ah,
It's an important consideration, and it can have a financial impact as well. Not all children enter kindergarten like at the same level, right? Exactly. Some kids might benefit from pre-K programs or enrichment activities to help them develop those essential skills like early literacy, social and emotional intelligence.
right. And those programs can be a worthwhile investment, even if they come with a price tag. They can really set your child up for success in kindergarten and beyond. But let's be realistic. Not every family can afford those extra costs.
Yeah.
So, how do we navigate that financial decision?
It's tough, right? Because on one hand, you want to give your child every advantage, but on the other hand, you have to stick to the budget.
Right. And here's the thing. It's not an all or nothing situation. There are ways to make it work, even if you're on a tight budget. You can explore scholarships or financial aid options, get creative with your childcare arrangements, or even consider, like a part-time pre-K program.
So it's about weighing the benefits against the costs
Mm-hmm.
and finding a solution that works for your family.
Exactly. And remember, investing in your child's early education, it really is an investment in their future.
Right.
It's something to prioritize, even if it means making adjustments in other areas of your budget.
Wow. Okay, I'm still processing all that information about pre-K and getting ready.
Right.
It's definitely a lot to consider, but I really appreciate you breaking it down in such a clear way.
Of course. It's all about finding that balance,
Yeah.
right, between investing in your child's future and managing those day-to-day financial realities. But, we've talked a lot about kind of the practical side of things. Um, let's shift gears for a minute and talk about the emotional side of this financial transition.
What do you mean? Like the stress of budgeting
Well,
or being anxious about making these big financial decisions?
exactly. Yeah, it's really easy to get kind of caught up in the numbers, and we forget about that human element. Kindergarten can be, a time of big emotional adjustments for both parents and kids. You might be, feeling excited or anxious, maybe even a little bit sad as your little one takes this big step towards independence.
Right.
And those emotions can definitely impact your financial decision making.
You're so right. I've been feeling kind of like a mix of all those things lately, and I hadn't really thought about how that might be like influencing my choices.
Right. And, it's so important to acknowledge those feelings and give yourself some grace. Remember, there's no one-size-fits-all approach to finances. What works for one family might not work for another.
Right.
And that's okay. The key is to find a path that feels right for you, your partner, and your child.
I think I needed to hear that.
Yeah,
It's easy to get caught up in comparing yourself to other families and what they're doing.
absolutely. Yeah, focus on what works best for you. And, remember, it's okay to ask for help along the way,
Hmm.
whether it's, a financial advisor, a therapist, or even just like a trusted friend. Having a support system can make a world of difference.
That's great advice.
Uh,
Okay, I feel like I'm in a much better headspace now to dive back into those practical tips.
okay.
Um, we talked about redirecting those former childcare costs. Are there any other like money-saving strategies that we should be considering?
Yes. So one of our sources had this like brilliant suggestion, a family fun fund.
A family fun fund.
Yeah. Yes. Remember, those extracurricular activities we were discussing earlier? Well, this fund is like specifically for those enriching experiences that might not fit into your regular budget.
Okay, I like where this is going. Tell me more about this family fun fund.
All right, so think of it as like a mini savings account
Yeah.
dedicated to fun family outings, weekend adventures,
Yeah.
or even that dream vacation that you've been putting off.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Permission to like enjoy and make memories while still being responsible.
Exactly. And the beauty of this fund is that you can start small and contribute to it gradually. Maybe set aside, a little bit from each paycheck, or perhaps you redirect some of that money you're saving on childcare.
Yeah.
So instead of, feeling deprived, you're actually creating like more opportunities for joy and connection as a family.
I love that.
And, sometimes the simplest strategies are the most effective.
Okay.
One of our sources highlighted the power of meal planning.
Meal planning. Okay.
It might sound, mundane, but planning your meals in advance can save you a ton of money on groceries. And it really helps reduce those like impulse takeout orders.
Okay. You're speaking to my heart right now. I am not a meal planner,
Okay.
but I am willing to try.
I think you'll be happy if you do. And, while we're talking about those simple but effective strategies, let's talk about another powerful tool, automation.
Automation, like setting up automatic bill pay.
That's one aspect of it, but it goes beyond, just bills. You can automate your savings too.
Oh, okay.
Set up a system where, a certain amount of money is automatically transferred from your checking account to your savings account each month.
So it's like paying yourself first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really takes the temptation out of the equation.
Yeah.
And it makes saving, a seamless part of your financial routine.
I like that. Like it's on autopilot.
Right. And speaking of goals,
Yeah.
let's revisit those big picture aspirations we touched on earlier.
Okay.
Remember that vision board or financial roadmap we talked about?
Oh, yeah, where I get to, like, put pictures of my dream vacation home and and early retirement.
Right. But
That was
seriously, how do we actually make those dreams a reality amidst all these other financial demands?
right, right.
It's all about, breaking those big goals down
Mhm.
into smaller, more manageable steps.
Okay, so instead of being overwhelmed by the size of the dream, just focus on the little things.
Exactly. So let's
Uh-huh.
say, your goal is to buy a house in 5 years. Well, what can you do this year to move closer to that goal? Maybe it's, increasing your down payment savings by a certain percentage, or perhaps it's, improving your credit score.
Like a roadmap, but with like milestones along the way to
Exactly.
keep you motivated.
Yeah, and don't forget to celebrate those milestones as you reach them, right?
Yeah.
It's important to acknowledge your progress and keep that momentum going.
I like that. Okay, I want to circle back to debt though. We talked about like tackling it head on, but like let's get real. Some debts are bigger than others. What advice do you have for those of us facing like a mountain of debt?
Yeah. You're right. Debt can feel very overwhelming, especially if you're dealing with like large balances on things like student loans or credit cards. But here's the good news. Even those small steps can make a big difference.
So not like magically making it disappear overnight, but just making progress.
Exactly. Yeah. Start by creating a budget that outlines your income and expenses,
Yeah.
then identify those areas where you can cut back and redirect those funds towards that debt repayment.
Okay, so maybe packing lunches instead of eating out, or maybe finding more affordable entertainment options.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of negotiating. Reach out to your creditors and see if you can lower your interest rates or work out a more manageable payment plan.
I've always been a little afraid to negotiate, but I guess it never hurts to ask.
Exactly. The worst they can say is no. And you might be surprised how willing they are to work with you, especially, if you're proactive and demonstrate that commitment to repaying your debt.
This is making me feel a little bit more powerful, like I have a little bit more control.
Absolutely. And sometimes it helps to kind of shift our perspective on debt. Instead of viewing it as this burden, try to see it as an opportunity for growth.
I'm not sure I'm quite there yet, but how can we reframe debt as a positive thing?
Think of it this way. Every time you make a payment towards your debt, you're you're building that financial discipline and strengthening your commitment to your financial goals.
So it's not just about getting rid of the debt, but it's about like building those healthy habits.
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes those tough financial challenges can lead to some unexpected benefits. For example, tackling that debt, that might inspire you to get more creative with your income.
Oh, okay. Like maybe exploring side hustles.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be a little uncomfortable at first, but pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, that can lead to some amazing opportunities for personal and financial growth.
You have given us a lot to think about today.
Yeah.
I am feeling very inspired and ready to tackle these challenges.
I love that.
Ah.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey. There are resources available to help you every step of the way.
And speaking of resources, we will be sharing some helpful links and information in the show notes. But before we get to that, we have one final segment coming up.
Yes, stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment with some final thoughts and some inspiring takeaways to help you really rock this kindergarten transition.
Okay, we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into kindergarten finances.
I feel like we've covered so much.
We have, from managing those shifting costs to like
Yeah.
dreaming big about your family's future.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're missing a piece.
Okay.
We haven't talked about how to involve your kindergartner in all of this.
Oh, that's right.
It's one thing for us to be making the plans,
Right.
but how do we get our kids on board with this whole financial thing?
Well, that's where that magic of financial literacy comes in.
Oh, okay.
Remember those early conversations we talked
Yeah.
about saving and spending?
Right.
Kindergarten is the perfect time
Yeah.
to start putting those concepts into action.
I love that. So how do we make that a hands-on experience? I don't want to bore a 5-year-old.
Right. So one of our sources suggested creating a visual savings tracker.
Okay.
It could be like a chart,
Yeah.
a jar with stickers,
Mm-hmm.
even a DIY piggy bank with like different compartments for different saving goals
Oh, I love that. A little visual.
Right.
Yeah.
to track it.
Makes it fun.
My kid would love putting stickers on a chart every time he saved $1.
Exactly. And then as they get a little older, you can introduce the concept of giving back to the community.
Like donating some of their savings. Exactly, yeah. It's just a wonderful way to teach them about generosity and the power of money to make a positive impact on the world.
Financial savvy and a little philanthropist.
Right.
Um, so we've been talking about, saving and being smart with our money. But what about, just enjoying the moment?
Oh, absolutely. Life is all about balance.
Yeah.
While it's important to be responsible, it's equally important to create those memories and just enjoy the present moment.
So it's okay to like splurge on that family trip to the zoo or that random ice cream outing.
As long as it, fits within your overall budget and it doesn't derail your long-term goals.
Right.
Those spontaneous moments of joy, that's what makes life, rich and meaningful.
You have given us so much to think about, and I feel like I'm walking away with a whole new toolkit to navigate this whole kindergarten transition.
Yeah. And remember, you don't have to do it all perfectly.
Yeah.
There will be bumps along the way.
Right.
And that's okay.
It's about learning as we go. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, is there one piece of advice you would give our listeners?
I would say embrace this transition as an opportunity.
Okay.
It's a chance to reassess your financial priorities, set those new goals, and create a future that aligns with your family's values and dreams.
I love that.
Yeah.
And remember, you're not alone in this journey. We're all kind of figuring it out together.
That's right.
So to all the parents out there, you got this.
Yeah, you got this.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back next week with another interesting topic.
Until then, happy planning and happy learning.